What's up everyone? Stars I'm Staff here. Today we're looking into my brain. Literally. I just applied for Neuralink. Many say it's raw and scary tech, but when you've spent years fighting your own body, you start to value opportunity over fear. I have CP. I can barely speak or walk, but online I'm fully powered by AI. It's early 2026 and the BCI world is a total bloodbath between titans. Musk, Altman, China, everyone wants a piece of your mind. Check out this breakdown for the full picture. From playing complex strategies with your thoughts to giving a voice back to those who lost it. Let's go.
All right, today we're jumping straight into the near future, taking a look at the latest from Neuralink. We're going way beyond the initial headlines to see how this tech is already changing lives. And we're also going to look at their pretty radical plans for robot surgeons that could totally redefine what's possible. Okay, let's get into it.
You know, we have to start right here with this quote from Nolan Arba. He's the very first human patient. Because this isn't some abstract piece of tech we're talking about. It's about bringing back joy, bringing back the ability to just do things. A 9-hour gaming session might not sound like much to some, but for someone who lost that ability, that's everything.
So let's talk about Nolan. He was paralyzed from the neck down for 8 years after a diving accident. And his story? Well, it's basically chapter 1 in this brand new era of brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs.
What's wild is how this whole thing just exploded into the mainstream. It wasn't some stuffy research paper, it was a video with Mr. Beast that tens of millions of people saw. Nolan wasn't just playing Mario Kart with his mind, he was sending text messages, showing a level of control that, let's be honest, was pure science fiction until like yesterday.
And to really get what a huge leap this is, you have to understand what he was dealing with before. Nolan talks about using a mouth stick, and yeah, it's literally a stick he held in his mouth to tap on an iPad. He said that because he has these severe body spasms, just staying in one position long enough to use it was almost impossible. The idea of playing a game for hours? Just not an option.
But this tech isn't standing still, not even close. The next step is already moving beyond just controlling a cursor on a screen to something way more fundamental, giving a direct voice to our thoughts. Neuralink is actually recruiting for its next big human trial right now.
It's called the Voice Study, and it is a massive step forward. The implant gets placed in the speech-motor cortex of the brain, and the goal? To actually decode the brain signals for the words someone wants to say and then turn them directly into audible speech. This completely bypasses the need for a mouse or a keyboard.
So here's the crucial difference, and you can see it laid out here. Patient number 3, Brad Smith, uses his implant to move a mouse and type, and then AI helps finish his sentences. Now that's incredible stuff, but it's still an indirect process, right? This new voice study is aiming for a direct link, brain to voice. That could be so much faster, so much clearer. And it's not just the patient side of things that's moving at warp speed. There's an equally ambitious plan for the surgery itself. Elon Musk has laid out a roadmap for what he calls a surgical revolution. And he's got a year in mind, 2026. 2026. That's the year Neuralink wants to start pumping out these BCI devices in high volume. And, maybe even more importantly, that's when they plan to switch to a super streamlined, almost completely automated surgical procedure.
So let's break that down. First, you've got the automation, which we'll get to in a second. Second, there's a new surgical technique. The tiny little threads from the device will be inserted through the dura, that's the tough outer layer of the brain, instead of having to cut a flap in it. That is a huge deal for reducing infection risk. And third, just scaling the whole thing up.
And this slide really shows why automation is such a game changer, especially for something as delicate as brain surgery. A robot can be precise and consistent on a level that's, well, it's superhuman. That means less risk of tissue damage, shorter surgeries, faster recovery, and at the end of the day, making this technology available and affordable to way more people.
But of course, with Elon Musk, the vision doesn't just stop with the current surgical robot. He's already looking even further into the future, to a time when another one of his company's creations might just take over.
In a recent interview, Musk made this pretty stunning prediction. He was asked when Tesla's Optimus robot could be a better surgeon than the best human surgeons, and his answer was 3 years. And not just one robot, but potentially enough of them to outnumber all the human surgeons on Earth.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. A robot performing brain surgery? That sounds terrifying. But let's think about it with a question Musk himself likes to ask. Would you want an eye surgeon coming at your eye with a handheld laser?
Yeah, of course not. No way.
And that's the whole LASIK analogy. We already trust computer-controlled robots for incredibly delicate procedures because a machine's precision is just so much better than even the steadiest human hand. The argument here is that brain surgery is just the next logical step for this kind of robotic accuracy.
Now, as revolutionary as all of Neuralink's work is, it's really important to remember they're not alone. This is quickly becoming one of the most competitive, most well-funded fields in all of tech. A new brain race is definitely on. So let's just take a quick look at the field. While Neuralink gets all the headlines, they are not the only player. You've got Merge Labs, which is backed by OpenAI Sam Altman, and they're trying to skip surgery altogether with non-invasive ultrasound. Then there's Precision Neuroscience, working with the medical device giant Medtronic on a minimally invasive implant that's more like a thin film. Everybody's betting on a different horse to win this race. What's really fascinating is watching this BCI gold rush happen at the exact same time that other big future tech bets are kind of cooling off. I mean, Meta, which went all in on the metaverse, is now shutting down its virtual work app and backing away from business headsets. It really feels like the momentum is shifting away from virtual worlds and toward augmenting our connection with the real one.
And that brings us to the final and kind of mind-bending question. We're on the verge of decoding human thoughts to bring back speech and movement. But as a recent viral post joked, if we can do that, what stops us from one day understanding the thoughts of, say, our pets? It might sound like a fantasy today, but in a world with mind-controlled video games and robot surgeons, you really have to wonder, what is tomorrow's reality going to look like?
So, what do you think? I've made my choice. Registration complete, email confirmed, now waiting for Elon. For some, it's just hype. For me, it's a second chance at life. I want my voice and control back. If that means being the first Russian cyborg, I'm ready. This was Stars. See you in the future. It's already here.